Well, I was getting ready to go to work and I was thinking about stuff and all of a sudden I remembered something and I thought that would be a good YouTube video.
Jet motherfucking Dent, President, Jet motherfucking Dent, President, Jet motherfucking Dent, President, Jet motherfucking Dent, President.
By the way, if anybody is interested in my theme song, that was written by a Viner who calls himself Mr. Davis, and he wrote a whole album about different Viners, and I was on that album. And he has a link, so if you just go to my description, you'll see that anybody can go there and download the whole album for free, or just my song and jam out. This is the third part of the Nightmare of Vine Stories, and I never thought I would make a part 3, but I just got to thinking about this story this morning. But included in this video is a whopping dose of crazy Viners, so let's just call it a 2-for-1. When we were writing the Vine Stories books, it quickly became a nightmare. Now, if you're not familiar with the nightmare of writing Vine Stories, I'm not going to go all into it right now, but I was a co-author of the books Vine Stories 1 and 2, or 2, whatever. These are the books, and it sounded like a really good idea, and we did make some decent money off of it, but it was basically a fucking nightmare, and I would never do it again. So if you don't know about that, I'm going to link those videos below. The second half is really long, and I'm sorry about that, but I sat quiet for 2 years and I didn't say anything, so now was my time to say something, and I took my time and said what I had to say. The comments on those videos are disabled because I'm not stupid. I know that the people I'm talking about are going to make up new profiles, or maybe grow some balls and use their own name and come and try to talk shit in the comments. But you know what? You had 2 years to run around and talk all the shit you were going to talk, and guess what? Now it's my turn. This is my YouTube channel. This is my playground, and we're not playing that game. I'm just going to talk about the first book in this video, okay? Everybody that we had in the book, we had them sign a release. These are all the releases for the first book. You know, here's the stack for the second book. Now, I don't know everybody on Vine, but I wanted to make sure that we included an accurate depiction of all the types of people on Vine, if possible. That's really impossible, but we wanted to at least try. With that being said, I don't know a lot of black Viners, and I didn't want our book to just be all white Viners, so I contacted one of my friends on Vine and I said, hey, I want to include some black Viners in this book that we're writing, but I don't know a lot of them. I said, hey, do you know of any really good black Viners that I could include in this book? I said, we need good stories. Stories about people who have maybe helped other people on the app. People who have become happier people because of the app. We need to include people from the LGBTQ community, and I'd really like to find a black Viner who fits into that category. And Antoine was really helpful, and he gave me a list of people, and I took that list and I started contacting people on the list that he gave me. Now, I'm not going to say the names of these 2 people that I'm talking about in this video because one of them I actually really still like. I think he's a nice person. I think he's a decent person, and I was disappointed that this happened. Now, the other one is a complete jackass, and I'm not going to say his name because I know how he is, and he will just use this as like a field day to create a shitstorm, and that's really not what I'm trying to do with these videos. I'm just telling funny stories. In this case, a fucked up story that has happened in my life. Since I didn't really know these people, I didn't contact them based on their follower count, but it turns out these 2 people that I'm talking about in the video, they really had a lot of followers. One of them, his story was talking about how he used Vine to show his community that, you know, it was okay to be out and proud, to be a proud gay man, a proud gay black man. You know, he didn't try to hide that. The other guy, his story wasn't really that phenomenal. It was just that he had seen a girl who was upset on Vine one night about something. I don't really remember now. And he had helped to like promote her hashtag that night so that she could have a better night, which was very nice of him. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, compared to the majority of the stories that were in the books, that really wasn't that phenomenal of a story. I mean, I'm not being a smart ass. I'm not just saying that because of what happened that I'm going to tell you about. It just really wasn't, you know, it was just kind of like a filler story. And it was just kind of short. It was one that if I was reading the book, I'd probably be like, oh my God, oh wow, this story, that story. And then I'd get to his and I'd be like, okay, it wasn't that grand of a story. Now with them, same as everybody else who was in the books, we said to them, you have to sign a release in order for us to put you in the book. And both of them had no problem with that. The one guy, let's call him Nice Viner in the story. The Nice Viner that I still don't have a problem with. Nice Viner, he was like, yeah, okay, I'll sign the release, I'll get it back to you, and that's exactly what he did. He mailed it. Most of these people, they printed it out, they signed it, and then they mailed it back to me. Now, the other one, let's call him Jackass Viner, because that's exactly what he is. He couldn't print this out for some reason. I mean, he probably just doesn't have a printer, or he didn't at the time. You know, a lot of people don't have printers, and I didn't have a problem with that, because I had some people like this one. She printed it out and signed it, but then like she couldn't fax it, or I don't remember. There were all sorts of different circumstances for people, and so like with this one, she printed it out and she took pictures of it with her phone and screenshotted it to me. I printed it out and that was good enough. Now Jackass Viner, he couldn't print it out for some reason, and I was like, okay. So I talked to my co-author and I was like, you know, he can't print it out. I'm not really sure why he can't print it out. And she was like, well, let's see, what can we do? So what we decided on, he texted me basically and said, I read the release, I understand it, I have no problems with it, yes, I want to be in your book. So he texted that to me, and then the next thing he said was, okay, now I'm going to sign a piece of paper and I'm going to date it, and I'm going to text you that picture. And I thought, well, let me ask my co-author, and I said, is this going to work? And she said, yeah, you know, if you have a text from him saying that he agrees to be in the book, he has no problem with the release, he agrees with it, and he signs a piece of paper, and you know, whatever. It may not sound like that great of an idea, but at the same time, I had many people who had to do it different ways. I had one guy that texted me and he was just like, look, I have no problem with being in the book. I read the release, I have no problem. I'm not gonna come back and say I didn't want to be in the book. You have my word on that. So I screenshotted that and kept it. So different people did different things. This book was self-published by us. Now, a lot of people self-publish and they are happy if they sell 20 copies, but we sold 360 something on the first day. We made a decent amount of money on the books. I know I went on a cruise with money from the book, so you know, I mean, you can't really look down on that. But at the same time, I mean, this wasn't like that big of a deal. We were self-publishing and it was put on Kindle, and I'll explain that. Now, when the first book came out, there was already a shitstorm, as you know. If you have watched the other videos, if you haven't, look at the link. I can't explain it all now. So when the book came out and the shitstorm started and Larry lied about saying that he was going to take all the money that he was going to make and give it to Nathaniel Tope, all of these people came out of the woodwork, and I started getting all these comments about, oh, what are you going to do with the money you made from the book? Where are you going to donate the money you made from the book? How much money did you make from the book? You know what? It's none of your fucking business what I made from the book. I worked hard on this book. You know, it costs money to make a book. I don't know if people understand that. It costs time to make a book. And furthermore, do you just walk up to people and say, hey, how much did you make from your job today? Hey, you gonna donate any of your money? Why is that anybody's business? But you know, all of a sudden, all these people started coming to me asking me questions about money because of Larry Miles. Maybe 2 days after the book came out, I got a VM from a lady. That's a private message on Vine, and I had no idea who she was. I had never spoken to her, never seen her in my life, but she told me that she was the Jackass Viner's mother, and she wanted to know how much money the people in the book were going to get for being in the book. And I said, none. Well, she didn't like that answer, and she decided to go on a lot of my Vines and start threatening me. She was threatening physical violence on me. She was going to kick my ass. She was going to snatch my hair out. She was calling me a whore. She was calling me a bitch. She was calling me a skank. She was just out of control. She was gonna beat the shit out of me, all for putting her son in a book. I think it was that same day or the next day that the Jackass Viner texted me, and he was like, hey, you did us all wrong. He was like, I know what you did and you know what you did. And I was like, no, I don't know what I did. What are you talking about? He was like, you used all of us. You just used our stories and put us in your book, and then you're not even paying us. And I was like, okay, did you read the release that you said you were okay with? Let me read you some of this release. I agree to indemnify you against any and all claims, actions, damages, losses, liabilities, and expenses. I hereby represent that I am executing this release voluntarily, and I fully understand its contents, meaning, and impact. What? No contract exists between us with respect to the material. And each person who was in the book had to fill out one of these and had to agree to be in the book. So what the fuck are you talking about again? And then he's like, hey, we're out here hustling in these streets and y'all are just sitting back writing a stupid book and using all of us. And I was like, what? Let me explain the definition of hustle to you. I am 42 years old and I've been working since I was 15. I went to a community college for 2 years, and then I went went to nursing school for 3 years. I graduated from that community college on a Friday night, and I graduated from nursing school on the very next day, Saturday. And on Monday morning, I was back in school getting my bachelor's degree. I was working in the operating room. I was getting up in the middle of the night to deliver babies via C-section. I was working my ass off, and I was going to school. After that, I started working and teaching college, and then I had to get my master's degree. And while I was doing all of that, I was doing the job I do now, which was going and seeing patients and doing 2-page reports on them. I have 104 patients, by the way, so let's add that up. I was working 2 jobs and going to school get my master's degree. That's the definition of hustle. Listen, I love social media. I have made some money off of social media myself. I cannot say that I don't believe in the power of social media, and I can't say that I don't think it's a lot of hard work. Making these videos, you may think it's easy, but it is not. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of preparation, editing, uploading, all that stuff. It's not easy. And you know what? My best friend makes her living off of social media, so I really don't want to sound like I'm putting it down. But the only hustle that the jackass Viner probably knows about is just trying to figure out which 6-second video he can do next to get $5,000 to $10,000. Because yes, they do make that amount of money. Sometimes even more. I can understand that his definition of hustle may be, hey, where am I going to get the next Vine? Where am I going to get this? But dude, you're making like so much money a month and you want to tell me that you're hustling? No. But that day that he was like going off on me in text and telling me what a horrible person I am, I was like, okay, well I can fix this easily, because the book at that time was not in print, it was only on Kindle. And you can go into Kindle and change your book very easily, and that's exactly what I did. I went into Kindle and I took him and I took the nice Viner out. And then I texted him and I said, hey, I took you out of the book so you can go find something else to bitch about. Because I mean, that's what he was doing. He was tearing my phone up, just bitching about being put in this book. Well, then he tried to call me. I didn't answer. I had just said what I had to say, and I certainly wasn't going to answer the phone and let him cuss me out and yell at me over the phone. So then he starts texting me again. He's like, that's what I thought, bitch. Fuck you. Who the fuck you think you are? And I'm like, okay. I was just like, you're acting like a fucking idiot. Like, I don't even know how to help you. I don't even know how to explain this so that you can understand how much of a fucking idiot you're acting like right now. So I never really talked to him after that. Every now and then he'll show up on my Vines, even though he has me blocked. He'll just like unblock me and show up on my Vines and just tell me like what a piece of shit I am, how ugly I am, and I'm an alcoholic, you know, all this shit. And I'm just like, if that makes you feel better about your life today, to just sporadically show up and say these things to me, have at it. Treat yourself. So anyway, that was my newest crazy Viner installment with a dose of the nightmare of making Vine stories. You know, Vine is a shit show, what can I say? And I'm just glad to not be there anymore, but I cannot say that I'm not happy about all these crazy fucking stories I can tell, because it makes for a good YouTube channel. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I have to get ready and go to work. I hope everybody has a good day, and if you would please give this video a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and if you have, thank you so much. I do videos every Tuesday and Saturday, and I try to throw in an extra in the middle of the week, you know, just silly stuff, just to keep you on your toes. I hope everybody has a good day, and I will see you next time. Bye! I answered this phone call, and I shit you not. I shit you not. I shit you not, I answered this phone call and it is a mask in the screen.